dash cams have caught some pretty crazy stuff, from the sky falling to crashes, stunting, and even the earth moving. More often though, they capture more mundane stuff, but that kind of stuff could help you if you're ever in a collision. All that is why dash cameras are so popular. Choosing one though is tougher than justifying the purchase. There are hundreds of options out there. I recently got to get hands-on with one that's billed as one of the most technologically advanced dash cams on the market, the Nextbase IQ. It can send you real-time notifications if someone is in your parked car, for example, or it can beam a live stream of your drive to anyone on the planet. In this review, I'll install the camera and talk about why it doesn't go in like a regular dash cam. I'll take a look at the resolution too, which is a market-beating 4K. I'll also look at some of the extra features it has and whether it's worth the substantially higher than average $699 US or $999 Canadian price tag. Plus, there's something you need to know about this camera, and that's that most of its best features are locked behind a paywall. I'll wrap my review with the pros and the cons, and I'll let you know if I think I can recommend this camera to you. What's in the box? The Nextbase IQ 4K dash camera is compact and solid feeling. The camera is anchored to a bulky articulating mount that has reversible antennas. The mount is big because it houses more advanced technology, which we'll get to. The only option for installation here is with a sticker, so this isn't going to be a camera you swap in and out of multiple vehicles easily unless you want to hack your own setup. I chose the highest resolution 4K model, but lower resolutions are available for lower prices. The kit comes with several cables and accessories. In addition to the unit itself, you get a special OBD2 power cable that connects to your car's onboard diagnostics port under the dash. There's also cables that will draw power off the fuse panel if you prefer, plus a fitting tool for peeling back moldings and rubber seals. Inside the Nextbase IQ unit is a 64GB micro SD card with an adapter. You will also need the Nextbase app to connect the camera to service and to use several of the features, but you will also absolutely need a paid subscription to one of Nextbase's plans. No plan and your camera's only going to give you limited use, like recording to the micro SD card. You're not going to get live viewing, no notifications, no cloud storage, and no emergency calling. Now, before I could even start testing the camera, I discovered it was seemingly impossible to do anything with it or the app without actually signing up for a Nextbase subscription plan, whether I wanted to or not, and even if I was just going to record to the SD card instead of using the full feature set. While there appears to be an option to bypass the sign up, as of my recording date here, it didn't work for me, and all I was able to see was a blurry screen on the app, like I was blocked from accessing it. Grudgingly, I gave in and handed over my credit card and agreed to sign up for the Cadillac Level Pro plan on a trial basis. The plans range from about $9 to $19 US or $14 to $26 Canadian per month and offer slightly different options, but the core of what you're paying for is live streaming from the camera using cellular connections and notifications to your phone if there are any concerns like crashes or break-ins. The next thing I realized is that most of these pro-level features do require you to activate them. They are not on by default. For example, if you want your camera to contact emergency services in the event of a crash, you do need to enable a host of settings and permissions inside the app. Similarly, if you want to enable witness mode, which is going to send a live stream to up to 2 contacts that you designate if you're ever pulled over or in a situation you're worried about, you need to make sure you have this set up, that your contacts have been chosen, and going one step further, that those contacts have actually agreed to receive your live streams. No point deduction here for this, it is just something to be aware of. My early advice, though, is if you're opting to pay big bucks for the camera and the monthly plan, make darn sure you can take advantage of it by going through each of the settings in the camera and making sure all of the required permissions and options are activated. It would be nice if the app prompted you for this, but as of recording of this video, it doesn't. When I went to set up the camera, I encountered a world of pain. One early warning: don't stick the camera to your window until you have it set up in the app. The plug that connects into the back of the camera is going to become completely inaccessible as soon as you stick it to the window, so keep it within reach until the setup is complete, then stick it to the windshield. Installation of the cables went pretty easily and all the necessary tools were included. I opted for the OBD connection, and if I could make one suggestion to the Nextbase engineers, it would be not to have the cable come out the side of the connector, but out the back instead. It barely fit in the small opening where my port is located. It might be important to mention that this camera has no option to pull power off a cigarette lighter adapter. It is OBD or the fuse panel only for power.
While the OBD connection was actually easy to do, these options may intimidate users who are less familiar with their cars, but from my experience here, it is easy enough to do. You can Google where to find your specific car's OBD port if you don't already know where it is.
When I went ahead with the setup, the camera attempted to download an update, but after the first attempt, it got stuck and hung up for at least 20 minutes. I disconnected the power and started it over, and the process seemed to advance further along, but it always stalled out. After starting over and running the update sequence about 9 times, I gave up and called Nextbase support for help.
We went back and forth over several days, and I will say I got great help, but it did take a lot of my time. The Nextbase software engineers emailed me several sets of new firmware downloads in order to try and jog the camera into behaving. After the 4th or 5th special software download, when things were still not working, the company offered to replace my camera.
When I went to connect the new camera to the Nextbase app, I'm happy to say it connected on the first try, and I was set up and ready to go in about 5 minutes.
My advice here is if you're experiencing trouble with your camera and it takes longer than about 5 or 10 minutes to get it set up, reach out to Nextbase for help and request a new unit. All right, let's get into some of the cool features this camera has.
The Dashcam features a 4K front camera with an HD cabin-facing camera. You can also get an optional rear-facing camera too. The videos will save both to the SD card and to the cloud, meaning they're also accessible in your app at any time. The 4K resolution is a huge bonus. It adds crispness to the detail and color accuracy is spot on. What you get here is premium footage that makes it easy to pick out even finer details like license plates. The night recordings are okay, but the camera seems to get blinded by bright light easily. Since we're on the topic, let's dig deeper into the video quality. I took the iQ camera on a road trip to Vegas, plugging it easily into my rental car's OBD2 port. It was my silent second set of eyes on the 4-hour drive, capturing desert landscapes as well as the glitz of the Las Vegas Strip and interesting sights around town. The footage is indeed crisp, clear, and sharp, and it makes it a lot easier to identify landmarks, read signs and license plates, and to capture fine details. 4K footage is easy to zoom into on your computer too, so what you can't see on your phone, you can easily blow up on a laptop.
So how does the camera take advantage of features like sending you notifications or live streams? It's got cellular connectivity built in. Nextbase iQ will connect with 4G cellular service, and in case you're wondering, this is in large part what you're paying for each month. The Dashcam has no SIM card slot in here either, making it impossible to bypass the monthly fee if you want to add your own cellular service.
Thanks to the cellular location, your dash camera knows exactly where it is at all times. You can open the app and see where your kid has the car, for example, or use it to find a stolen vehicle, as long as the thief hasn't yanked the power.
If you're ever in a situation alone and wished you could have some backup, Nextbase iQ's witness mode gives you that option. This is one of the features you do need to set up and get permission from friends to share to, but you can essentially use your voice to enable witness mode, and the camera will beam a live stream of what it can see directly to your chosen contacts. All you have to say is, "Hey Dashcam, start witness mode," and it will begin recording, and share your stream automatically. There's also emergency SOS you can enable. If you or whoever's driving are unresponsive during a crash, the iQ will share your location and any medical details you've provided with emergency personnel. Luckily, I had no need to test this out during my review period.
The Nextbase iQ will also alert you to events that happen while your vehicle's parked, like if someone backed into you or tried to break in. You'll get a push notification to your phone, and the camera will record both through the windshield and in the cabin, so you've got a set of eyes all around.
More than once I did get a parking alert, but it was usually either just my husband getting something out of the console or a neighbor brushing past.
A major downside for some might be the lack of a display screen on this camera. You can access a live view of the camera from the app anytime, of course, but you also do need the paid subscription to do it. I personally find a dash cam screen in the car distracting, so I don't mind going without. Depending how much driving you do, the included 64GB micro SD card might be just fine or not enough. On 4K settings, 3 straight hours of recording will fill up the SD card, which is what happened with my 4-hour drives to Vegas and back. With both cameras enabled, that time gets cut to just 2 hours.
What you may want to do is grab a 256GB card, which does unfortunately add to the already high investment cost.
Let's sum things up here. Cynics are going to think this camera is just an expensive honeypot to lure customers into a perpetual subscription, since many of the best features are locked behind a paywall. But with that said, if you have need for higher quality video and better and more reliable security and safety features, those may be worth both the price and the ongoing costs. I'm thinking about professional drivers and families with teens in particular.
On the pro side, the great resolution is undeniable, and it makes a massive difference to footage quality whether you opt into the cloud or record right to a micro SD card. Having both the front and the cabin camera in one is helpful too. The camera was easy to install, and while my first unit was a lemon that refused to function, I did get great help from the Nextbase team, and the replacement works flawlessly. I really like the addition of voice control, since anything we can do to be hands-free in a car is safer overall.
The security features like witness mode and emergency SOS are helpful and valuable and would be a boon to homes with new or teen drivers in the family.
Of course, the fact that mom or dad could also peer into the car for a live feed while the teenager is driving and see what they're up to is either a godsend or evil, depending on your parenting styles. Now, on the con side, I can't overstate the fact that pretty much everything you're going to do with this camera is behind a paywall. As I'm putting together my review, my trial subscription has expired and I can't view the camera, see its location, or do anything whatsoever within the app. So I think it's really important to understand that if you're not going to plan to pay each year for your camera and that cellular connection, you can and should shop for something else.
Other potential downsides for a buyer? The permanent installation using a sticker might limit its use unless you want to hack some kind of a Velcro option together. A lack of in-car display screen might also be a con.
I am also a bit concerned that the first unit I got was a dud, so I'd love to hear from others out there if you've had a similar issue and what happened. Since Nextbase did stand behind the camera and replaced it, it maybe is less of a downside. Overall though, I think the camera is great and the footage is unbeatable. If you think about it, paying the monthly fee for 24/7 cellular access that lets you see your camera and your car's location, live views, and you get emergency backup services to boot, I think that's actually quite valuable. I've really enjoyed my Nextbase IQ experience, and I can definitely recommend it for those who want to make the investment. It sells for about $699 US or $999 Canadian, and you can get one through Nextbase's website or from Amazon. And if you're looking to make some other safety investments in your car, you can check out my video where I got to try out Alexa Auto right now.